Hello and a warm welcome to the Al Jazeera News Hour. The most powerful storm to threaten the northern Philippines in 4 years is now making its way across the country's northeast. Super Typhoon Megi, the equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane, reached land 5.5 hours ago. At least one person is dead and another missing. Well, the storm made landfall at northeastern Isabela province and is heading west-southwest at 17 kilometers an hour. We'll go live to the capital, Manila, shortly for a live report, but first this report from Florence Louis.
Packing winds of up to 260 kilometers an hour, it's been dubbed the monster storm by local forecasters. Huge waves are battering coastal regions, and all boats in northern ports have been banned from setting off to sea. In some areas, power and communication have been cut off as strong winds toppled electricity and telephone poles. Rescue boats and emergency supplies have been positioned in high-risk areas. Thousands living in the path of the typhoon had fled before the storm arrived, putting up temporarily in schools and community centres. 5 provinces in the northeast have been put on a signal 4 alert, the highest level. Officials have warned the typhoon may trigger landslides and flash floods. The storm is expected to dump as much as 6 centimeters of rain an hour.
As the typhoon made landfall, as long as it hits the ground because of what we call friction effects, it will partially weaken.
The storm is forecast to exit the Philippines early on Tuesday and head across the South China Sea. Florence Louis, Al Jazeera.
Well, Snehal Soneji is the country director for Oxfam in the Philippines, and he joins us live from Manila. I understand, Mr. Soneji, that you've been to meetings already to coordinate the rescue and relief effort. What's being done?
Thank you for having me. We've just been part of a couple of meetings that have been organized. I think the preparation that has been going on both by the government and the UN system and the INGOs has been quite intensive. We have known that this typhoon is coming our way for a couple of days now. So preparations with relation to the people who potentially would need support has been done among all the stakeholders that are present here in the country.
But how can you know what the response is to be so early on in the proceedings? What's the assessment of the damage, death toll so far? Well, first of all, Philippines typhoons are not new to Philippines. This is we are a country which faces 20 typhoons a year. This is the 8th or 9th typhoon to come our way this year. So we have a pretty accurate idea of what are the kinds of impact that it is going to create and what are the kinds of, therefore, support that people are going to need. So it is possible to prepare. I think, however, the challenge is that it is in an area which is mountainous. It is because of the high speed of winds. It is going to impact a large number of people. According to one estimate, almost 13 million people, which is pretty much the entire population of the region, is going to be affected. Therefore, the challenge is going to be how are we going to be able to support so many people at the same time if it comes to that. Mr. Soneji, even though, as you say, the Philippines is struck by typhoons often through the years, it was caught out last year by what was called Typhoon Quetzana, of course. When it hit Metro Manila, you saw that immense flooding. You're talking about the entire population of the northern Philippines being affected here. How does the government response, the relief agency's response, differ from Quetzana, for example?
I think that the big difference is going to be in the concentration of people. Indeed, there were lessons that everyone who was involved in that response to Quetzana learned. The challenge there, of course, was the fact that so many people affected were concentrated in such a small area. While here in the current situation, I think the situation is going to be different because we have learned the lessons, and the government is well prepared in terms of the boats that have been that have been mobilized and the other actions that they have taken. I think the key difference is the lessons that have learned and have been implemented this year
And that's the level difference is in the level of preparedness, I think.
Thank you very much indeed, Snehal Soneji of Oxfam, live from Manila. Well, China's southern island Hainan is also preparing for Megi. Flooding's already forced more than 100,000 people from their homes on Hainan. At least 200 villages have been affected. It's the second time this month that residents have had to evacuate because of flooding. And we'll have plenty more from the Asia Pacific coming up this news hour, but now it's back to Doha.